He's just making as many miles as he can.
Well, we mentioned that we had passed the quarter mark of the race. Is this a sprint or is it a marathon? We talked to the guys and gals.
You have to have patience, so I guess that would side with a marathon, but I think it's important that you're always fast.
It's a marathon. It's a marathon race. Mentally, physically, emotionally.
At times it can feel like a sprint because everybody's just going full out, but it absolutely is a marathon.
You've got to get to the halfway point, and then you start your sprint after that.
It's a marathon with a sprint in the middle.
I love the various positions and opinions of the people who are actually out there doing the driving. Let's get an update on that 10 car of Dario Franchitti's. Vince?
Well, it is very good, and Dario says, of course, that, it's important to be quick early, but you really got to have a good car late. It seems like he's got the early part covered, although they did make a wing adjustment in that first pit stop. They're also talking to Dario about making those adjustments that a driver can do in the cockpit, and reference that Scott Dixon had made similar adjustments on carburation day, the final practice day, and felt like it improved the car. That's teamwork, and it's working right now for the 10 of Dario Franchitti.
And one of the guys in hot pursuit is back in second place, 3.1 seconds behind him. That is Elio Castroneves, who you mentioned, Eddie. It looks like he is just comfortably positioning himself for that sprint at the end.
It always comes down to those last 20 laps, but he did not look rushed at the beginning of the race. He doesn't look rushed right now. His times are a little bit slower than Dario Franchitti's, but this is the guy that's won 3.
Your Firestone telemetry. Let's watch his speed. Remember, last time we were checking, it was 229 on Tony's car, but he did have a toe going down in the 1.
So if you really want to see how a car is working, look at that throttle. If it remains 100%, that means he's comfortable, and that's all he can really do. If he comes out of the throttle, that means he has a problem.
I remember Rick Mears is his tutor and also one of his spotters, down to about 60% on throttle. And he said the most important advice that Rick has given him, he said, simply to finish first, you must first finish. And he said, I've learned to wait for the track to come to me and change the car and get ready for the end of the race, Marty.
And so Elio continues in second. Let's drop 5 seconds further back, and we'll pick up Rafa Matos, who has got a great run going, Doc.
Exactly. How about that? You got Penske cars running second, third, and fourth. Yeah, Rogers cars are second and fourth, but it is Jay Penske who is the owner. Rogers' youngest son of the car being driven by Rafael Matos. There's Jay Penske, and in the near ground, that is Jill DeFer in the 2003 Indy 500 winner, driving for Roger Penske. And of course, Jay very, very happy with what's happening in the car. And how about this, guys? Rafael Matos has said the car is perfect. How many times has a driver here at Indy said that word about a car? Perfect. He said, don't touch it. No air pressure, no wing adjustment. Just put 4 Firestones on it, full tank of ethanol, and let me go. The car is flawless.
Well, he won the 2008 Indy Lights title. That's the feeder system as they move their way into the IndyCar series. And as he continues in 3rd position, Ryan Briscoe's 4th, Eddie Carpenter is 5th. Let's check in on Tony Kanaan. Remember, he started 33rd. Fellas, he is up to 12th.
He's running well, but he looks like he's stuck in this pack. You have to pick these cars off one by one when you're at speed, and every one of them is a separate problem with a different driver in it.
Rick DeBrule, what are they saying down in the pits?
Well, don't forget, even though he had a lousy qualifying weekend, he had been fast this month. That was when the weather was cooler. At one point, he was 6th fastest. That was his overall lap time at 226 miles an hour. I mean, he's been calm before this race, saying he knew the main thing for him was to stay on the lead lap and work.
Trouble, the 43 for John Andretti is into the wall, and our 4th caution is out.
Just like it did practice. I mean, took off exactly like it did practice.
Keep
it up high, John. Keep it up high.
He was running 26th at the time of the contact.
He wants to stay up as high as he can there. He's right in the middle of the road.
See everybody going both sides of him. Here on lap 65 of 200. Let's go back and take another look.
Watch as the car comes through the turn. It's in the middle of the turn. It just seems like it starts to walk itself towards the wall as we now look at the back of the window world machine with John Andretti. Maybe not quite down to the white line, down to the apex. but it seemed like that car was probably ill-handling to him for some reason, Eddie.
You know what was really interesting is you could actually hear the moment he got out of the throttle. He probably had another second to go before he got to the wall. And when that happens and you lose grip in the front, there is nothing you can do except to wait for the hit.
So for John Andretti, who had his best finish ever in 1991, when he came home in 5th, his day is over as we go side by side. Of Ed Carpenter, that's Dave Sharpley, and boy does he have a close-up view of the action going on as we're under our 4th caution here after 66 laps have been completed and the pits are open. And we should point out Dario Franchitti, our lap leader. You know, you saw the feature at the beginning of the broadcast, Jim Rathman. Well, Dario just passed Jim in laps led here at the 500. Jim won just 50 years ago. We know he's watching back home. Jim, glad you're with us here today, 50 years after your win at Indy. They had 29 lead changes in that race. So far today, we've had 5 between 3 different drivers. Pit stops are about to happen, and obviously under the caution, the pressure on the crews, because this is where they can pick up a lot of spots, guys.
Yes, there are 2 really important parts of this race. One, obviously, Scott, is the driver. But when you come in and you get your tires and your fuel on board, these guys if you rush it, you can make mistakes like what happened with Will Power, but they have to be smooth.
And when you think about the pressure on the number 12 crew right now for Will Power, because they did have that error before, Marty, that is going to be a lot of pressure on those guys this time through.
So as they get ready to come around turn number 4, we expect everybody to be taking advantage of these pit stops as we will be completing lap number 67 of 200 here at the motor racing capital of the world. Let's get ready for our Apex Brazil triple pits. And we're going to be sending to Dr. Jerry Punch up first. And look at him slowing down to make it to 60 miles an hour. Doc?
Marty, Rafael Matos, and Helio Castroneves and Dario Franchitti, all 3 are going to show their pit stops. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Matos, a bit of an understeer here, so their fix is going to be a half a turn up on both sides of the front wing and 4 fresh tires. How about you, Vince?
Top of the screen there, Dario Franchitti. No changes expected on Dario's car. Remember, he's the champion from a season ago. Helio Castroneves, they're going to make another front wing adjustment. There's the look at Dario in the 10, the target car. Helio's car, another front wing adjustment as they race off pit lane.
And it looks like Dario Franchitti gets the Apex Brazil race off pit road win this time. Castroneves holds station. Ryan Briscoe. Oh, no, and look out. Trump 9 car, Scott Dixon, our 2008 winner, in trouble, and they've got to pull him back. And oh no, Rafa Matos! The left wheel is sheared. Doc, what happened?
Left rear tire just came off as he's going out of the pits. The thing just bumped and he spun around. He hit the nose of the car. They're going to push it back up pit road the back way and try to replace the entire nose piece. Somewhat of what happened a year ago. Remember the final pit stop last year? He was running 5th and they left a wheel nut loose. He went all the way back to 21st, had to come back in and had issues. Vince.
Well, Scott Dixon with a problem there. Let's get a conversation real quickly with Mike Hall in regards to what happened there. Mike finishing up communication with Scott. Mike, what happened?
I don't know. You guys could tell us. We just saw him. I saw him leave the pit lanes and the wheel come off, so I honestly don't know.
Mike Hall looking for the replay as well, guys.
Well, and remember, it was a late race pit stop that cost the 9 team this year. Can they come back this time? He'll stay on the lead lap. Now, he was 6th. Matos, as he gets another tire, he goes back out. He was 3rd.
We need to see what happened in the replay, but if they didn't touch anything, they should be okay.
All right, let's go back and show you what happened to Rafa Matos first.
And we talked about the pressure of the teams. As we're watching all this action go in the pit lane, look up top.
The tire just wasn't tightened.
Yeah, and actually you could see the displeasure in the left rear serviceman because he looked like he actually got taken for a ride as Matos went to leave. He rolled on the ground, and then the tire ended up bouncing through the pit lane.
Here's what happened to
Dixon right now. You can watch the right front. He is told to leave. And that left front wheel is not on. He knows it right away. You can feel it as a driver, so he smartly slows down right there in the pit lane, Eddie.
But the good news is he's okay. He lost the tire. Nothing happened to the car. Matos' car had some trouble. That front nose had to be changed.
All right, we're going to take another break. We're going to go side by side as we're under our 4th caution. Dario Franchitti is our race leader. We'll let you know where these guys shake out when we come back. Back at the motor racing capital of the world for the Indianapolis 500. And our Helicam coverage is brought to you by